Hey, good morning, guys. Thanks for tuning in to Rules for Rebels. In today's video, we're going to be talking about Amazon merch, and I have kind of a weird, funny analogy today. The title of today's video is going to be what the Deadliest Catch can teach us about selling t-shirts on Amazon merch. So you guys know that TV show, The Deadliest Catch, about the crab fisherman. There's a lesson we can pull from that TV show that's going to help you in selling merch shirts. Before we get into that, it is Friday, guys. The weekend is here. It's really kind of overcast and kind of crappy here in Chicago, and I'm super disappointed. I ordered a paddle board from Costco the other day. I wound up getting the Body Glove Performance or Performer 11-inch inflatable paddleboard. Showed up a day early in the mail yesterday, and I was super excited to get out on it, and I had some guys waterproofing my crawl space yesterday, so couldn't wind up getting out yesterday. Was hoping to get out today, and it's super crappy. But yeah, if any of you guys are into paddleboarding, drop a comment, let me know. It's you know, I've rented a lot of boards. It's kind of a sport that I wanted to get a little bit more involved with it and do a little bit more, so I bought a board, and I was really on the fence. I wanted a hard board. I wound up deciding on the Body Glove just for portability, and because I didn't want to spend the money on getting roof racks and everything. So if any of you guys are thinking about getting a board, maybe I'll probably won't post it on this video, but maybe I'll post it on another one of my channels. If any of you guys are interested in kind of my review of that board. But without further ado, getting into it. So I was chatting with some people online about Amazon merch the other day, and somebody was asking, like, has anybody ever gone from struggling with merch to quote unquote getting it figured out? And I think we all, very few people are going to start out and be successful right off the bat. I think we all start off kind of sucky and wind up figuring it out. You don't really know what niches are going to work. You don't really know what types of designs are going to work. I see a lot of people who start on Amazon merch and they're spending 30 minutes or an hour on a design doing these really intricate designs, and while their shirt looks great, I mean, if there's not a lot of demand for that niche, you just spent 30 minutes or an hour designing this amazing shirt that nobody's ever going to see. Or if you don't do a good job with your titles, tags, and descriptions, you have this beautiful shirt you designed, but nobody's ever going to see it to actually buy it. So I would definitely put myself, along with probably most people, in the camp of going from kind of sucking to getting it figured out. My first year on Amazon merch had very little to no success. A year and a half, maybe even 2 years in. Maybe had $100 a month during December, but then the very next month I could be doing $1.96 in sales. And when I look over my sales history, I did in one particular, I think over the course of about 5 months, I had 1 month where I made $1.96, and within 5 months of that, I had a month where I made almost $600. And so I definitely do think, along with tiering up, you kind of figure it out. So getting to this kind of Deadliest Catch analogy, actually, before we even get into that, as we always say, Amazon merch is a numbers game. Early on, you should be focusing on tiering up, not making money. Another great analogy for this is, imagine you and I are having a free throw shooting contest, right? Now, let's say you get 10 shots and I get 100 shots. Even if you're a much better basketball player, a much better free throw shooter than I am, I'm probably going to beat you because I have 10 times as many shots as you. And I think the same thing holds true with Amazon merch. If you only have 10 t-shirt slots up, you don't have many chances to sell. As soon as you get 100 slots up, okay, now you got a little bit more real estate to work with. And that's what brings us to this Deadliest Catch example. So if you guys ever watch that show, The Deadliest Catch, I haven't watched it in a while. I used to love the show. I don't have cable anymore. But what do? When they set off from the dock, they go to find kind of a general fishing area. And then after that, they just start stringing pots out, right? Not in a small area. They don't go drop all their pots in one area. They might travel over, a couple 100 miles and drop a pot every 2 miles, every 5 miles, every 10 miles. And after they make their little loop and drop all their pots across this huge area, what do? They swing back around and they start picking up the pots one by one. And as they haul the pot up, 5 crab, 2 crab, 3 crab, and eventually at some point they pull up a pot that has 40 or 50 crab, right? 50 crab, we got 50 crab in this pot. And then what does that tell them? That signals to them that there's crab in this area, and that's when they go, circle around this one specific area and start dropping pots all over here, because that's a pretty good indication that there's probably crab there. Well, Amazon merch is the very same thing, right? At least that's kind of my attitude, my strategy towards Amazon merch. people are like, how do you find niches? How do you find niches? You try a bunch of different niches until you find something that gets a little bit of traction. If you hit on a niche that winds up selling 1 shirt, 2 shirts, 3 shirts, double down, go really heavy on that. And a lot of times that'll wind up bringing you in a good number of sales. You know, right now I'm doing, like last month and this month, I'm on track to do, I don't know, probably $800 to $1,000 in sales. I'm trying to think, like, you know how when you log into merch and you see your dashboard and it says how many sales in the past 7 days. I'm normally floating between like 50 and 60. I sell my shirts at full price, pretty much all of them. Now, if a sale comes through that's not at full price, I go edit that, raise it at full price, because at this point I'm not too worried about tearing up. I want to maximize the amount of money I'm making, and I really don't feel like pricing my shirt at $15 is going to get me that many more sales than pricing at $19.99. But the amount of money I make off a small amount of sales is going to be a heck of a lot more charging full price than it is charging, you know, 50 cents or $1 per shirt. So that's really kind of my tip, my strategy, and I think what we can learn from the Deadliest Catch is go, you know, the same way that they spread pots across different areas. Try out a lot of different niches. When you strike on something that works, double down, go heavy on it, and get a bunch of shirts up. And then continue to experiment, you know, go drop some more pots, see where there's some traction, and when a shirt sale or two comes through, okay, you know you're onto something, double down. So yeah, I mean, like I was saying, you know, right now I would say, you know, I'm selling a decent amount of shirts. There's obviously people who are blowing my numbers out of the water, but I feel like I'm doing pretty good, especially for my lack of design skills and the little bit of time I put into doing this. So I'm pretty happy with my numbers and everything. And while I do get some random shirts in all different types of niches floating in here and there, the vast majority of my sales, I would say like 90% of my sales, if not more, come from 1 or 2 niches. One niche has actually kind of started dying out. So I would say probably like 80% of my sales come from one particular niche, 10% come from another, and then maybe the last 10% are just like random shirts that come through. But, you know, so I wouldn't say I'm especially skilled or I have some magic trick. It's just, you know, I stumbled upon a good niche, but I did that by kind of spreading around my efforts, trying a bunch of different things, seeing what niches got a little bit of traction, and then going really heavy on those. And something I need to do, I've kind of been reliant on these 2 niches and just been going heavy on these. You never know when a niche is going to die out. You never know. You know, eventually, if you're doing good and there's not a lot of competition's going to come in. So that's kind of what I need to focus on right now is kind of playing that Deadliest Catch game and just kind of sprinkling out shirts in different niches, see what gets some traction, and then doubling down there. And I think that's how people get up to like the, you know, Glenn of Hustler Hacks, who does the Merch Minds podcast. I think that's how he kind of gets where he is, right? You strike upon a niche, you go hard at it, you get that bringing in a couple $100s a month, and then you go kind of scatter out across niches, find another one, get that one bringing in a couple $100s a month. And as you kind of build this portfolio of good niches, okay, this niche brings in 200, this niche brings in 200, this one 200, this one 200, and before you even know it, you're making like $500 a month. So I am at Dunkin' Donuts. It's about my turn up in line, so I better cut this video short. But if you enjoyed it, thumbs up, subscribe if you're not subscribed, and I'll catch you on the next one.